You know, so it was 2018. I wasn't even in the cigar industry yet, and I was in Key West, Florida, and I stumbled into Rodriguez Cigar Shop. It was about 2 minutes before they closed. I walked in the door as Danny DeFabio, the owner of Rodriguez Cigars, was closing up shop for the day. And I was letting him know I was from out of town and I just wanted to grab a couple sticks. And he opened up the shop to me. And he starts taking me up into their aging room. He starts showing me their rolling tables. He starts telling me the story and the history of his grandfather. And fast forward 3 hours later, we're sitting in the back, sitting on the seats of the rolling table, 2 bottles of bourbon out, we're 2 or 3 cigars in, we're laughing, we're telling stories upon stories, and I'm just absorbing all of this information, all of the history of Rodriguez, the process of tobacco. It was one of the coolest experiences in cigars that I've ever had and think I will ever have. When I came on board with CigarClub, I knew immediately that I wanted to bring Rodriguez cigars into the fold. On the phone with Danny, you know, talking about what cigars we're gonna be bringing into our boxes and which ones you all are gonna get to enjoy and love, whether it's the Serie 84 Maduro or the Premier Clase. And he's like, Dave, I've gotta get you to the factory in Esteli. And my mind was blown, right? Like that was a dream of mine, to go to a factory, to work on cigars with somebody that I had so much admiration for in the industry. 8 weeks later, we're on a plane to Managua. We're driving up into the mountains of Esteli. We're seeing the whole process of tobacco. It was myself and Jeff and Danny and the factory owner there and Danny's longtime friend in the industry, Guillermo Pena. And we were in the fields. We were touching tobacco. We were seeing how the process was, from the fields to the barns, the pilons, from the box factories to the rolling tables and the packaging department and the sorting tables and everything, the whole process. And it was all starting to click for me. Danny starts rolling up some new cigars and handing me some samples of some blends we had talked about doing. We start smoking them and we're eating, and we're drinking coffee, and we're smoking cigars, and we're talking about what we're tasting in these like magnificent sticks. And we walk into a particular room in the factory called the sorting room, where they were deveining wrapper leaves and picking out the highest grade wrappers for specific projects. And I saw this one buttery, smooth, beautiful wrapper. And I looked at Danny, I'm like, what is that one? He's like, Ecuadorian Connecticut Deflorada, a wrapper that I was familiar with on some of my favorite cigars. And I knew that was something I wanted to use in a project. And at the time, CigarClub Customs was just a thought in the back of my head of a way to bring limited cigars that have a rich story and can express a manufacturer and a brand and bring it to our family, our CigarClub family. So I look at that wrapper and I go, Danny, this is it. I mean, this is what I want to use. I'm looking at how they're sorting them, and you know, they're putting them in these wraps of 20 and signing their names on them. The pride that every single person at this factory, Tabacalera La Perla, took in the cigar process just blew my mind. Fast forward to the end of the week and the samples are done. I'd worked with Danny at the rolling table, figuring out a way to bring a more full-bodied Connecticut to the market. I knew that the Deflorada wrapper would bring a next level of flavor, more so than any other Connecticut shade wrapper on the market. And I wanted to highlight that. I didn't want to shy away from it. So we used a lot of Nicaraguan filler and binder, a whole strand of Ligero, and then this beautiful, beautiful wrapper. I mean, it is like butter. So we start smoking them, and right away I'm just like, this is it. I totally know that it's going the way I had envisioned it. Thanks to Danny and to Guillermo for putting that cigar together. But I mean, this cigar is wonderful. It starts off with this like white pepper, cinnamon, a little bit of anise, and it starts to build and build, almost picture like a symphony. As the cigar continues, it gets more flavors. It has this incredibly rich balance and creaminess to it. You get the nougats, the pepper, and then all of a sudden, about halfway through this cigar, the spice and the big bold flavor is back down, and you get this luscious, rich, creamy smoke. That's really what I think this cigar brings, right? It's this incredible balance and transitions and big flavors and subtleties, and then it ends with this relaxing, creamy, full of life flavor. We smoked through about 4 or 5 of these samples in Esteli, and I was like, Danny, this one, blend number 6, this is the one. I know the project I want to use it for. So fast forward, the last day we're in Esteli. We're driving the truck back to the factory, and we're slam packed in there. It's Jeff, myself, Danny, Guillermo, and 2 other guys from the factory. And Danny is explaining to me some other processes of the factory and of the people that make up Tabacalera La Perla, and he's passionate about it. And he's passionate about the pride that they take in every step of the process. And he just says, man, it's Algo Sincero. And I was like, whoa, what? Translate, please. What does that mean? And he looks back and he said, you know, it's something sincere. And boom, right? The chills just like run down my spine, down my arms, and I'm like, that's it. I'm like, that's what the cigar is. That's what I felt when I saw them sorting the wrapper leaves, when I met the people that work at this factory, when I walked into Danny's shop in Key West in 2018, just as a customer, as someone he never knew, and I left 3 hours later knowing so much more than I had before, and starting a friendship that has blossomed into what it is today and into this cigar. Algo Sincero is a story of cigar making. It's a story of this industry and the people that make it what it is. It's a story of all like 300 hands that touch this cigar. So I'm so honored to bring this cigar to our CigarClub family. It's a 5 1/4 by 50. Grand Robusto, we're calling it, and they're gonna be sold in 5 packs. If you haven't ordered it already, I believe we have about 20 or 25 5-packs left. We were only able to make, I think we were just under 1,000 cigars due to the fact that this wrapper leaf and the grade that we wanted to use, that's all that was allotted and available at the factory. So if you haven't already, make sure you go online and check this out and grab it. It has an incredible story, but more importantly, it really showcases the people that make the cigar industry what it is. And it's a really, really good cigar, if I do say so myself. For myself and the team here at CigarClub.com, and from Danny and the Rodriguez team in Key West, all the way to Esteli, Nicaragua, to you guys, our CigarClub family, this is Algo Sincero, and it's available now.